Live from WTVG Toledo, this is 13 ABC Action News.
Again, any of the water from the city of Toledo, which, as they said, includes about 500,000 people, don't drink it.
And any resident that receives water from the city to not drink or boil their water.
Folks went out this morning and they tried to buy up all the water they could find, and now there's none to be found.
This store was supposed to open at 9:30 today. We got here at 9:25 and they were basically out of water at that point.
First and foremost, residents must remain calm.
We are continuing to follow this breaking news that is affecting the water in the city of Toledo as well as Lucas County and parts of southeastern Michigan.
The governor has declared us a state of emergency. The reason for this is microcystin, which is the toxic part of the algae bloom, has been detected in our preliminary tests and in our confirmation tests at our water treatment plant.
That's the chemical we were talking about. Microcystin is the chemical that showed up 2 times higher than it should be.
We're out here on the water and I'm seeing some stuff that I've never really seen before. Take a look at this. This is what has just come out of the water that we got here, this algae.
You can see how the color changes, more of that really neon color green beginning to show up versus the dark blues across the area, and that is some of that algae that we're concerned about.
If it's higher doses can cause some nerve injury, which can result in tingling of your hands and some neurologic damage. It can affect the liver.
But again, earlier it was all the way down the street, wrapped around the bridge, because people are obviously just desperate to make sure that they have some water.
Well, this line on McCorden Hall goes all the way back to the back of the high school. All of these people are in line for a 5-gallon jug or a 6-pack.
Hi, Sean Haggerty from Channel 13 News. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Good. Saw your ad on Craigslist about selling water.
Yes.
What are you selling it for?
$15.
A case?
Yes.
What'd you pay for it?
Enough and a lot of hard work. Why?
I just wondered.
Are you interested in buying some?
Just wondering if that might be price gouging.
Trying to do something about it, we wanted to bring in a water expert from the University of Toledo. Dr. Isabel Escobar joins us in studio.
We have tests that are going down to Columbus, and we have tests that are going to Cincinnati, Ohio.
The last time we talked, they were unloading a 3rd wave of water that was arrived by truckload.
But we'll stay out here in case he does happen to come out, and every time we hear a click on that door, we're turning around to make sure that it isn't somebody important that we need to talk to bring you the very latest information.
It goes without saying this is a very difficult day for the Toledo Fire and Rescue Department.
We start with a truly sad day in our city's history. 2 Toledo firefighters answering the call to save lives and property died this afternoon while battling a stubborn fire. They lost their lives fighting a fire at a building near Magnolia and Huron Streets. Danger, of course, part of the job of a fireman. 13 ABC's Lee Conklin joins us tonight with more on the 2 men who died today. Lee, the absolute worst happened today.
Yeah, incredibly difficult night and time going forward here, Bill, for the Toledo firefighters. Everybody associated with the city, of course, but most of all for the families of these men. The fallen firefighters identified in that news conference tonight. 42-year-old Private Stephen A. Mashinsky, a nearly 16-year veteran, appointed March 20th of 1998, assigned to Toledo's Engine 3. And 31-year-old Private James A. Dickman, who recently began his rookie tour with Engine 3. He was appointed September 3rd of 2013, less than 6 months ago. And Bill, you, our team of reporters, see this every day, the bravery illustrated by our firefighters in blistering heat and, of course, the incredibly bitter cold temperatures and conditions we've had the last month or so. The bravery that they give shown once again today, and our thoughts, of course, are with their families.
These are all brave public servants, Lee, and they all deserve our respect.
And they join 47 others of the Toledo Fire Department who have given their lives to save others. So we say, our thoughts once again with the firefighters, their families, and the Toledo Fire Department tonight.
Lee Conklin, thank you very much. Well, now there is another question, actually a couple of major questions. How did this happen? How did this situation become so deadly today? 13 ABC's Sean Haggerty out at the scene of the fire right now, hopefully with some answers for us. Sean, what can you tell us?
Yeah, we can't tell you all the fire crews have left the scene right now. I'll give you a live look at what is happening out here tonight as Toledo police officers are now watching over the scene. There are not a whole lot of answers that are being revealed tonight, but we are told that investigation will be thorough. Smoke poured from the apartments behind the Huron Market here at Huron and Magnolia in North Toledo Sunday afternoon.
Smoke, burn wire,
I didn't see no smoke or nothing. And then I heard my neighbor yelling, telling me to get out. I look out the door, I seen smoke coming from her apartment.
My dog started barking, and I looked up, and I'm like, and there was flames, just flames.
Part of the crew battling the smoke and these flames, Private Stephen Machinsky and James Dickman.
Both of whom were assigned to Engine 3, entered the structure to begin firefighting efforts.
The call came in around 2:45 in the afternoon. Sometime after that, as firefighters worked to put the fire out, other firefighters scrambled for another ladder, and then 2 stretchers were taken to the other side of the building.
After what could be described as valiant efforts to help their fellow firefighters, they removed them from the structure and began immediate care and life-saving measures.
Toledo fire investigators will not release any information at this point about what exactly happened inside this building leading to those deaths.
Formal and detailed investigation will take place, and many agencies will be involved. So we will get down to the bottom of what happened today.
Back live again, we're not even been told at this point about a cause of the fire, and they have not told us what happened to the firefighters inside. We're not sure at this point when we will be getting those answers as well. As you could see from some of that video there, firefighters very emotional today, trying to really wrap their heads around what has happened out here. So again, unlike a typical scene where they might have something in the first few hours or so, we've not received that information, but certainly when we do get it, we will pass it along to you. Reporting live in North Toledo, Sean Hagerty, 13 ABC Action News.
This is a 13 ABC special report, the Last Alarm Memorial Service.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Lee Conklin.
And I'm Diane Larson, and we're honored to share with all of you tonight's celebration of the lives of Toledo's fallen firefighters.
Thousands of people have come from all over the city, all over the country, even Canada, to bear witness and pay tribute to Private Stephen Machinsky and James Dickman. As we all know, the 2 died in the line of duty on Sunday, January 26th, fighting a North Toledo apartment fire.
And in the midst of the grief and the mourning for the people who knew and loved these 2 men, comes what you're seeing tonight. It's an elegant ritual of honor and ceremony called the Last Alarm Service.
When people close to us die, it's as if a part of us has died too.
Fire dispatch to Engine 3. Toledo Fire Dispatch to Engine 3.
To the Dickman and Machinsky families, there are no words that can express the sadness and sorrow in our hearts.
Clear the air.
We know they gave the last full measure of devotion to all of us.
Toledo Fire Dispatch to Stephen A. Machinsky and James A. Dickman on all call.
Those professionals run into harm's way. Well, most, if not all, would run away.
On January 26, 2014, at 14:47 hours, Stephen A. Machinsky and James A. Dickman answered their last call for service.
You are 2 very, very solid families. And that's why Stephen and James were such good fits to our department.
And in honor and in memory of firefighter Machinsky.
We are here to commemorate the lives of 2 of our brothers, 2 of our best, Steve Machinsky and Jamie Dickman.
In honor and in memory of firefighter James Dickman.
Their lives were worth living. They were devoted to their families and had faith in all of you.
May God rest their souls. We'll take it from here, brothers.
This is a 13 ABC special presentation, the installation and Mass of Bishop Daniel E. Thomas. Funding for this program brought to you in part by Sylvania Franciscan Health and the Andersons.
And good afternoon. From the Holy Rosary Cathedral, on Collingwood Boulevard. I'm Lee Conklin. So pleased you could join us for the installation of Toledo's 8th bishop in the Catholic Diocese. And joining us, Most Reverend Monsignor Charles Singler, giving us kind of the play-by-play of this historic day. We're so delighted that you could be with us for the next couple of hours.
Thank you, Lee, and a special welcome to all of our viewers in Northwest Ohio and Southwest Michigan to our Cathedral Church of the Diocese of Toledo. We're going to see him now kiss the book, and then he's going to bless the people with the sign of the cross by taking the book in hand and imparting a blessing with the Word of God upon the faithful that are here today.
Typically, the processional will not start in Mass until the bishop goes by.
Yes.
Correct?
And he's going to stand now in front of the altar to allow the other ministers who led him in the entrance procession to let them recess out of the cathedral. So they're already moving down the main aisle, and he'll come and stand right here in front of the altar, allowing them to leave before him.
Now, as soon as news broke that Vincent had been in Ohio, which we brought you as breaking news at noon yesterday, officials in Cleveland and Akron went on high alert. 13 ABC's Christine Long has more from Cleveland.
Sasham, the plane used by the Ebola-infected nurse is no longer here at Cleveland's Hopkins International Airport. The mayor and health officials are telling the public to stay calm. Don't panic. They're taking precautions. It was a tumultuous Wednesday of delays and cancellations at Hopkins International Airport after leaders learned a passenger who departed Cleveland for Dallas on Monday has since tested positive for Ebola.
Now I have to take off work again. I've already missed a day at work. I'm going to miss another day at work, so.
All 132 passengers who were on Frontier Airlines Flight 1143 with the Dallas nurse on this plane have been asked to call the CDC. Its scheduled flight to Denver was canceled. City leaders say the plane was decontaminated twice on a remote runway. At 6:30 in the evening, the plane took off. An airport spokesperson says Frontier Airlines took it out of commercial service. Frontier did not return our calls or email for comment. Meanwhile, the mayor of Cleveland and health officials held a news conference saying the airport disinfected key areas like the pedestrian bridge and provided personal protection for equipment employees.
We are taking additional steps in the abundance of caution.
Some travelers say they're not scared the deadly virus will spread.
Ebola is not real contagious, and so nobody's got anything to worry about.
A few are frustrated the Dallas nurse got on a plane in the first place to visit family in Akron and plan her wedding.
I didn't understand why they would let her go. You know, why would she fly here and she was taking care of that patient? I don't know.
God is in control of it. I taught school, that could have happened anywhere. You know, so no, I'm not frustrated, you know, at her.
The mayor and health officials say so far there have been no reported cases of Ebola here in Cleveland. At Hopkins International Airport, Christine Long, 13 ABC, Action News.
But this fire, which was extinguished, has now once again reignited. Again, I am going to go across the street and knock on some doors just to make sure that everybody is all right in this situation. If you want to keep the live pictures up, that is fine. But I'm going to check on the safety of everyone in this neighborhood, Jeff and Sasham.
Okay, I want to hold on this for just a moment as Tony does make his way across the street. And we heard earlier that this was possibly the site, as Tony was saying, of another crime that happened earlier. At this point, we want to point out there is nobody in that house.
That's right. Nobody's in the house. The homeowner actually got out, was talking to Tony earlier, but just in the last, 30 seconds to 1 minute, we saw those flames in only that window you see on the left. It is now pouring out. The fire pouring out of this house has spread within that one room. We're seeing thick black smoke, this all developing here. The fire just reigniting as the wind changed directions. And we're seeing Tony, a number of other people who are at the scene there reporting on that initial fire, now notifying residents, knocking on doors, and again, to alert our viewers, They have called 911 again, so we're working to get Toledo fire crews back out there right now.
City Councilman Larry Sykes claims he was profiled during a traffic stop. Toledo police are investigating. Sykes met with TPD Internal Affairs today.
I was very concerned as to being pulled over at that time of night. And more than anything, the reason for being pulled over. If he'd have said my lights were out or I was speeding, was swerving, it would have been okay. But just to say I couldn't read your license plates, why are you reading my license plates in the first place?
This is the dash cam video of the traffic stop back in April. Sykes claimed he was profiled by TPD, saying officers stopped him without cause.
I can hardly read your license plate with that license plate cover on it.
He later apologized to the department, saying it had all been blown out of proportion.
What did you mean by profiling?
Well, you see people out and they suspect they may be doing something or something like that. I doubt if he could see that I was an African American, a white, a woman, or a man.
Yeah, they're not very big cars, about 2 inches by 3 inches, but they're packed with lots of valuable information. And just think about it, bank accounts, credit cards, all could be open. People could rack up some big bills, and they were left in a place you'd never expect. Check it out, about 1,000 of them. They appear to be check cashing cards loaded with personal and valuable data. Names, addresses, birth dates, phone numbers, social security numbers, even photos. They came from here, the Family Food Center at Detroit and Dorr Street in central Toledo. They were turned over to the I-Team by a concerned source. So do the people on these cards have any idea that somebody simply threw away their valuable information? We decided to knock on some doors and ask them. Would it scare you if I told you I had your birthday?
Yeah.
Would it worry you if I told you that I had your social security number? Is this information legit and accurate? We put it to the test and read this man his social security number. 30.
That's correct.
Do you have any idea how I know what your social security number is?
I have no idea.
Sometimes we did not find the person on the card, but we found this.
That's my dad.
Is that your dad?
Yes. Yep.
His dad's actually been in a nursing home for the last decade with no clue his valuable information sat in a dumpster. Your dad's information could have been taken by anybody.
Well, I mean, that would be exposing him to, you know, like you say, a lot of crime, I guess, nowadays.
Are you serious? Holy cow.
We showed these cards to the Better Business Bureau.
A lot of times all you need is a name, address, and a social security number. These people's identities could all be compromised by this stuff. It's their records. They can throw it away if they want to. But from an ethical standpoint, if I'm the owner of this business, I'm not going to let this stuff go in the trash.
What about the owners of this place? The I-Team went looking for some answers. Why were these thrown away and who did it? We were met by a man named Clint, who remained behind this pole when we tried to talk to him. Clint identified himself as a manager. Do you know anything about how these ended up in your dumpster?
No. What are these?
Clint says he'd never seen the cards, didn't know what they were, and had no idea how they ended up in the Family Food Center's dumpster.
I don't know. I'm not in control of the garbage can. And this doesn't look familiar to me.
Clint says the place is under new management. The person who gave us the ID said they were spotted in mid-February. Clint says his group was in the store at that time. Is there anything you want to say to the people that had these thrown in their dumpster?
They should go look for whoever threw them in the dumpster.
Did anybody here throw them in the dumpster?
Not that I know of. I'm not in control of the garbage cans.
And here's the topper. Throwing away all these documents is not illegal. Bad business? Yes. Bad for people's identities? Absolutely. But not something that'll get you put in jail.
Well, even small businesses are sensitive to protecting the information on their customers. I would guess that less of it goes on than you might think, and that this is kind of an aberration.
This is me, though. That's kind of weird, though, to throw us away.
Weird and scary to the many who could have had their identities stolen. And even if you've never shopped here, it's a good idea to check your credit report at least once a year to make sure that no one has your information and has opened up a credit card or a bank account in your name without you knowing. So what happens to these next? Well, we brought in the professionals to properly dispose of these IDs, something that should have happened in the first place. Reporting tonight, Sean Hegarty, 13 ABC Action News.
The need is always there. There's always people who find themselves with a little less each year, and so it's just great that we can all work together.
There will always be a need in the community.
family. And Santa does his best, but you know, there can always use a little extra help.
No matter how big or small, every donation helps. Every toy given to 13ABC's Hope for the Holidays toy drive goes through the Salvation Army to a child in our area.
We want everybody to have a special holiday. When the kids open up those gifts on Christmas morning, we want them to experience the same thing everybody else is.
Our communities are what make us work, you know, whether it's Toledo where we have our headquarters based or anywhere in the country or the world. So for us to be a part of the community, to be part of the fabric of the community is extremely important to us.
From corporate sponsors to nonprofit organizations to you, everyone's generosity shined through the pre-dawn hours. And by the time it was daybreak and it was a little lighter outside, you could clearly see that the donations were piling up and the community spirit was right along with it.
Sharing our blessings and these gifts with the little ones of this community, it's our way of showing our love.
I've always wanted to do it, but always had to work during the day, and I finally had a day off to come and do it, so decided to pack up and come and do it.
This is Clancy.
Clancy is not going under somebody's tree, right?
Kozak, yeah.
The third annual 13ABC Hope for the Holidays drive-through bash is a huge effort by everyone involved to help everyone in need. And every year, it gets bigger and bigger.
To get back and just to do my small part is kind of what it was what Big B's about.
Every week we spend time taking care of our family and our friends, and sometimes all of us that can should take care of people we don't even know.
It's a feeling that's shared during the holiday season, lasting the whole year through. In Toledo, Tony Geptis, 13ABC Action News.
13ABC presents your Northwest Ohio Ford dealers, Thunder in the Hills. Now, let's go live to Michigan International Speedway.
It's a beautiful day in the Irish Hills. Welcome to the fastest track in NASCAR. Welcome to Michigan International Speedway. Welcome to the Thunder in the Hills. Once again, I'm Dave Holmes from 13ABC in Toledo, alongside our sister station in mid-Michigan, ABC 12, and Greg Moles. It's only 190 miles from Ann Arbor to Columbus, but it feels like two different worlds. Ohio State and Michigan share two things, a border and a hatred. The Buckeyes are focused on a potential Final Four, while Brady Hoke is focused on a potential final game. A season of controversy for the Maize and Blue. Athletic Director Dave Brandon gone. Shane Morris may have gotten the concussion, but the biggest headache belonged to Hoke. His Wolverines must win this game to make it to a bowl, and to do that, they'll have to walk a mile in another team's shoe. As for the Buckeyes, a season of surprises. With the exception of Ohio, nothing went according to script. Braxton Miller was supposed to shoulder the load, that is, until his shoulder gave out. With no other choice, the Buckeyes had to grin and bear it. And the Scarlet Shirt freshman has been sensational, 9 straight wins. But will that early season loss to Virginia Tech cost his team a trip to the Final Four? Or would the committee be nuts to leave them out? Bottom line, the postseason fate of both teams rests on the final 4 quarters of the season. There are games, there are rivalries, but there's only one border battle. Championships are on the line, bowl games are on the line, careers are on the line. For two teams separated by an imaginary line. The 111th edition of the Border Battle is next.
Live from Columbus, it's the Northwest Ohio Ford Dealers Border Battle Kickoff Show. Here's Dave Holmes.
Good morning. Welcome to Ohio Stadium. Thank you so much for joining us on the Northwest Ohio Ford Dealers Border Battle Kickoff Show. I'm Dave Holmes, joined as always by Joe Nugent and Steve Slivka. Joe, when we talk about the Bucks, it's a game they have to have today.
That's right. You're talking national championship as well.
Plenty of show to come. We'll be back in about 2 minutes, but first, won't you please consider this fake promotional offer? Hey there, Dave Holmes telling you about an exciting new offer. It's called Border Battle Beats. All your favorite songs rewritten, reworked about college football's biggest rivalry. Don't understand? Here's the 80s classic from Madness, Big House.
Brady wears his Saturday best. The fans are wearing maize and blue, and Club Banner supports you. College football's biggest scene.
right, Dave, so why aren't these called songs? I mean, they're called beats?
Well, you know, nowadays kids like to slip on their Beats by Dre, so.
Dre?
Yeah, Dr. Dre.
Oh, so he's a physician?
How old are you? Probably old enough to remember this Johnny Cash classic, The Reign of Meyer.
Bucks are a prideful team, and the coach has a real good scheme. A man dressed in white attire, welcome to the reign of Meyer. Buckeyes love this current reign of Meyer. When Tressel left, the program was on fire, so they reached out to a Buckeye prior, the reign of Meyer.
Lee, you know it comes right after a border battle Saturday, don't you?
Well, Dave, for the better part of the last decade, it's meant sorrow.
Yeah, well, no, Sunday comes right after Saturday, so let's go to church with the gospel favorite, Amazing Blue.
Amazing blue, how sweet the sight that saved a friend like me. Whoa, my family wore the scarlet and gray. That's why we barely speak.
Lee, do you remember when Justin Timberlake brought Sexy back?
Dave, to be honest, I wasn't aware it left in the first place.
Yeah, I never got that either. Well, it's back, and it's on this new album. Here's Sexy Buck.
I'm bringing sexy bucks.
Oh!
You Michigan fans must be out of luck.
H!
The last few years, man, your record stunk.
I!
Your team caves in so much, you must belong.
Oh!
To the bridge. Amazing blue. You have no shot of winning in the shoe. Wait till you see what the Buckeyes can do. Another win this year for OSU.
So many hits on one album. Duran Duran's Hungry Like the Wolverine, the Elvis classic Maize and Blue Suede Shoes, the Disney hit Brutus and the Beast. How about Lionel Richie's 3 Times a Brady, and Poison's classic ballad Every Rose Bowl Has Its Thorn. Plus, order right now and you'll get the special TV jingle I Wish I Was an Urban Meyer winner. But now back to the greatest band who ever lived, the Beatles, and Saturday.
Saturday. Maize and blue collide with scarlet and gray. Fans will cheer and yell at every play. Oh, finally, it's Saturday.
And remember, with every album sold, I'll donate 1/3 of 1% to charity.
Dave, how incredibly generous of you.
Yes, and the rest will go toward hiring a new co-anchor. We'll be right back.
Record cold has allowed ice to swallow up the Great Lakes, but the Coast Guard is slicing through that ice to help save the local economy.
Sometimes you're out here for 10 to 14 hours, and sometimes they only move 5 miles because it's that thick.
87% of the Great Lakes are ice covered, and from western Lake Erie north to southern Lake Huron, the only open water you'll find is behind the Bristol Bay icebreaker.
The general consensus is this is probably one of the worst, top 2, last 30 years. Everything came about 1 month ahead of time. OS1, Mr. Henry. Hey.
Nearly 7,000 jobs and $1.1 billion a year comes into Toledo by boat. The area depends on winter deliveries of heating oil, coal, and road salt.
If we don't get these tankers through, then the economy basically stops. For now, I'll just continue cutting this relief track because any work we do today is work that we save tomorrow.
Yesterday, the Coast Guard freed this lane up for traffic. By this morning, the brash ice refroze so thick you could actually drive a vehicle on it.
It's a never-ending struggle, but that's why we sign up for the job. That's why we're out here, and this is what we're built to do. And we'll just wait an extra couple hours for the Joyce L to actually make her way down.
When we were on the Bristol Bay ice cutter, the mission was to clear a path for 2 freighters. One was the Joyce L. Van Eckenvoort, which was en route to Toledo, but the cold weather and dense ice kept delaying those plans.
We have the throttle all the way down right now, and we're barely making about 4 knots.
It takes 20 to 30 men to keep up the forward momentum.
Hey, heads up. Heads up. Forward is coming. All right, right now we are in the engineering control center. This is the heart and soul of the ship with the propulsion. This is where they control pretty much everything.
The quartermasters of the watch operate on the top deck.
They're the ones that are working all the navigation equipment, working radio comms, communicating with vessel traffic system, and making sure that we're navigating safely as well.
The air temperature right now is near 0 degrees, but it's never too cold to grill.
Actually, though, we did have it the other day. You can always tell when we're having something on the grill. You'll see the cook come in and he's bright red and he's freezing. We'll walk all the way forward. We'll go down the next deck down. Well, right now we're in the epicenter of the earthquake. I like to tell people that breaking ice is like being in an earthquake for 14 hours a day. Again, this is forwardmost part, so you're really feeling where the ice is actually hitting the hull.
When the earthquake ends, modern luxuries are still miles away.
We have 2 7-man berthing areas. See, the racks are 3 high, kind of tight, but enough for what we need to do the mission. We have to be safe, self-sustaining at all times and ready to fight whatever comes at us.
Keep these tracks groomed, keep the water flowing, keep the commerce moving.
Love ice breaking. It's a great mission. It's a lot of fun. It's a challenge. Every day is different. Every time you're going into something, you think it's going to go one way and it goes a different way, so it's constant adjusting.
And the mission named Operation Coal Shovel will keep going for weeks thanks to the harshest winter in decades.
That's some tough ice right now, so unless we get some significantly warm weather day after day after day, this stuff isn't going anywhere for, I'm saying, at least a couple of months.
Eventually temperatures will warm up, and when that happens, ice jams and major flooding could happen. But if that occurs, the Coast Guard will be there to help unclog the jam. Reporting on the Bristol Bay, Ross Ellett, 13 ABC Action News.
This is Detroit Tigers.
Miles Eckert found a $20 bill in the parking lot while walking into Cracker Barrel to eat with his mom and sister.
I think most kids his age, she's going to be 9 next month, would have been like, oh, let's go buy a video game. I found $20. And now Miles and Marley together decided, our waitress, it's her lucky day.
But that same day, Lieutenant Colonel Frank Daly of Perrysburg came to grab lunch with his wife.
I happened to be in uniform because it was a break from work for me.
Mr. Daly walked in and Miles' eyes lit up and he looked at me, he said, Mom, we're supposed to give that $20 to that soldier.
My wife noticed a little guy behind me that kept trying to approach me, and then he'd run back to his mom.
And he was super, super excited, and he asked me if I had a pen and paper, and he wanted to write him a note.
Lieutenant Colonel Daly ended up getting the $20 and the note that read, Dear Soldier, my dad was a soldier. He's in heaven now. I found this $20 in the parking lot when we got here. We like to pay it forward in my family. It's your lucky day. Thank you for your service. Miles Eckert, a Gold Star kid.
When I saw that soldier, it made me think of my dad. So I decided to give it to him.
Miles' father, Andy Eckert, died in the line of duty in 2005.
I could hardly keep a composure, and then finally at the bottom it said that he was a Gold Star kid, and so that indicated to me that he had a loss in the family.
How did that make you feel when he came over and said thank you?
Really happy.
I'm going to keep that note for my lifetime.
So $20 found on the pavement by a young boy and given away is inspiring that family to pay it forward as well.
For a little guy to give up quite the treasure to him was inspirational to us. And my wife and I talked about it, and immediately we were on the same page that we were going to pay that forward into the community, and hopefully that $20 grows even more.
And it is time now for our Friday finale, and a lot of great things going on in our area this week.
And fun in the snow to big sports wins. Some of the many reasons to celebrate the fact that this is home. Hope to see you back here at 11.
Yeah, it's going down. We about to live it up, y'all. Let's go. It's a big world, and now we're loving this town. It's our turn, so put your hands up. We on the big screen, and everybody's here living out our dreams. Dreams, whoa. Yeah, yeah. Don't be scared, take a chance. Come on, give me your hand. It's time to laugh, time to smile. Now let's get up and dance. This right here gon' make you jump, jump, jump. This is home. This is the place. We bring it out, sing it loud, scream and shout. This is home. Hey, yeah. This is home.
Expanded edition of 13 ABC Action News with you this morning. I'm Sasha Bray.
And I'm Jeff Smith. It's been a while since we've had level 3 status here in Lucas County. We've got complete coverage of this recent weather, winter weather blast. We've been with you through the day yesterday, all the way through the night, giving you updates hour by hour. Our team coverage continues this morning.
13 ABC's Christina Williams. She is monitoring the conditions in one portion of Toledo this morning. Meteorologist Kelly Hybrader also joining us live with an update on some road conditions as well.
Yeah, great perspective there in Sylvania Township. Also, Zach Pitts driving the roadways, giving us real-time conditions out there. We'll check in with Nicole, as we always do, with an update on time saver traffic.
We start with Bill Spencer with the first check of our forecast.
Well, thank you, Sasha. Good morning, everybody. Well, here is the deal. Let's go over the live Doppler 13,000 HD, and there's a little bit of a band of snow. I think this is a little bit lake enhancement off of Lake Michigan, believe it or not, but there it is, and it's slowly moving in a south and southeasterly direction, so we'll keep an eye on that. On our action cam, I want to check in with Archbold, downtown Archbold, and you'll notice the plows going by and clearing out things rather nicely. You see it right there, but if you look real close, it's that shine on the roads. As we continue to get deeper into the day, we're going to see that getting very icy. And look at this, the Sandusky area looking northward. Look at that visibility go down to nothing as the snow squalls hit and move over the bridge area. So that is big concern that all the road crews are dealing with here today, is that visibility issue. This is now looking as southward through the Sandusky area, the Edison Bridge. And yeah, you see how the lights disappear. They try to come back towards the very end. So that is obviously a big, major issue. Today, falling temperatures down to 4 degrees. Wind chill factor, we keep driving that home. People are turning on their TVs right now. They went to bed last night and it wasn't that cold. What a shock when you step outside this morning. What do you got?
It really is a shock, Bill, and it continues to become more shocking later on today. And we talk about these numbers. It's hard to comprehend minus 20, minus 40 degrees, and it's air that we have not seen in this area since mid-January of 1994. But we want to walk you through it here. The cold air is filtering in right now. By 10 a.m., we expect some of those wind chill values. Once the winds begin to actually pick up a bit after daybreak here, we'll see wind chill values below minus 20, in many cases minus 25. That's what it's going to feel like for around 10 a.m. here for us. Watch these numbers. We head throughout the day today. As Bill was mentioning, temperatures aren't going up. They keep going down, and actually going down quickly. By 5 o'clock, those actual temperatures outside well below zero. The wind chill value approaching minus 40 degrees at that point for this evening. And then we don't really see much of improvement as we head into the overnight hours. In fact, those numbers slowly sliding here overall. It's going to be feeling closer to about negative 45 degrees. That is for tomorrow. That'll be the worst of it, and then improving conditions after that. And Bill's going to have a complete wrap-up of that 7-day forecast when we warm up with that coming up a little bit later on. But right now, we want to head outside where we're in the cold air and the deep snow with Kelly Hybrader. How is it out there right now?
Good morning, Ross, and good morning to you at home. Matter of fact, light snow has just started to fall here in Sylvania Township. Light and fluffy snow, but you can see we do have winds moving from the west, and that picks up that snow. We should see some blowing and drifting as we get later on in the morning. And of course, over my shoulder, the flag flying in full mast right now. You can see there. Winds are picking up. We had lighter winds just moments ago, and now we can already start seeing some of these ground gusts happening as we get into the afternoon hours. Remember, exposed skin when you're at 20 below zero can have frostbite damage within 20 minutes, so we want you to really be careful outside. And of course, let's check in with Nicole right now with 13 ABC Time Saver Traffic.
Well, thanks, Kelly. Now, level 3, of course, means no one's supposed to be on the roads with the exception of emergency personnel. And
It's like I'm seeing all the blue skies, and I'm walking on the air tonight. It feels so right, and I'm glad you're here. Glad you're here. Rebecca Rainier.
Welcome Welcome to Full Plate, just like the song says. My name is Rebecca Rainier, and I'm so glad you're here today. And I am very lucky to have a professional chef with us today.
The following is a presentation of 13 ABC Action News. Now, your table is ready. Join 13 ABC's Jeff Smith with the decision makers of Northwest Ohio and Southeast Michigan. This is the Round Table.
And a good afternoon. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Roundtable program. Coming up.
As a community, we all lost something yesterday. And we will stand with them now and into the future. We will get through this.
And the community coming together tonight as it mourns the loss of two men who put their lives on the line to protect others. Welcome to Action News at 6. I'm Diane Larson.
And I'm Lee Conklin. Thanks for joining us. Tonight, paying tribute and remembering a pair of heroes, Toledo's fallen firefighters. 42-year-old Stephen Mashinsky and 31-year-old James Dickman died battling an apartment fire in North Toledo Sunday afternoon.
Mashinsky, a 16-year veteran, was assigned to Engine 3. Dickman began serving Toledo 6 months ago. Before that, he was a member of the Perkins Township Fire Department. Today, flags all across the city and in communities all across the area are flying at half-staff in honor of the two men.
One of many signs of support for these fallen firefighters. Congresswoman Marcy Kaptur has a heartfelt message in the wake of this tragic loss. 13 ABC's Lisa Guyton has that story.
Christine Long has the story on how area restaurants are showing support for the fire department.
But we begin with Alexis Means with an update on the investigation into this fatal fire. Alexis.
Well, Lee, the fire chief says there's not a lot of information that he can release at this point about the investigation, but I can tell you that Toledo firefighters are receiving support from firefighters across this area. Firefighters from Perkins Township and other departments placed a T-shirt and glove at the scene where two Toledo firefighters were killed in the line of duty. 31-year-old Private James Dickman, also known as Jamie, always wanted to be a firefighter.
I would tell you, by spending some time with her family, he absolutely loved what he did. This was his dream job, and I heard it more than once.
And 42-year-old Private Stephen Mashinsky, his superiors described him as a great man. It's been a difficult 24 hours for both families and firefighters.
But all I could offer to them is we are there for them. Our number one priority is being there for them in any way we can be there for them.
The state fire marshal, ATF, FBI, and Toledo fire investigators were back on the scene looking for answers. Sunday, crews were called to this apartment fire on Magnolia Street. Smoke billowed from the building. All the residents made it out safely, but these brave firefighters did not. They were pulled from the burning building and rushed to a local hospital.
You know, there was transmissions that there was trouble because of the rapidly deteriorating conditions. And we had crews that were ready to go for just such an emergency, and they were put into action and put into service. And they accomplished what they were there to accomplish.
The chief does not know how long the men were in the building, and investigators have not determined a cause.
We are definitely taking our time, and we will leave no stone unturned.
Now, the fire chief says that he is prepared to give these men a formal funeral with full honors. Reporting live, Alexis Means, 13 ABC, Action News.
And Toledo's police chief is offering his support in the wake of this tragedy. In a statement, Chief William Moton says that Toledo's safety forces stand as one, and TPD sends its thoughts to the firefighters' families, friends, and fellow firefighters. The chief goes on to say that he has committed every available resource to help the fire department get through this. And the lives of Privates Mashinsky and Dickman will be honored this week. The Historic Church of St. Patrick has scheduled 2 masses for the men. The first is set for 5:30 Wednesday night. The second takes place at 10 o'clock Sunday morning. The church is located on Avondale, just outside downtown Toledo.
And word of the tragedy yesterday afternoon really bringing this community together. A local woman says there's no real way she can give back to the firefighters, but she is trying. Jamie Armstrong has organized a plan to feed the entire Toledo Fire Department starting tonight through the end of this week. The idea got its start on Facebook.
When they, can do such a selfless act and show their appreciation, especially for people who are constantly putting their lives on the line for us daily, I think it would just be great for the community.
Restaurants have been busy all afternoon delivering hot meals to fire stations across the city. 13 ABC's Christine Long live on Heather Downs in South Toledo with what is new at 6. Christine.
Lee, Sean's Irish Tavern here on Heather Downs donated pizza and hot wings to the nearby fire station on Airport Highway. The owner, bartenders, and waitresses are all on board. They say offering warm meals is their way of showing the community support and condolences during the firefighters' time of grief.
I heard about it on Facebook and figured since they still have to work today and they don't get a day off to grieve, that it would be best to try to feed the ones that are still working.
My dad is a retired Toledo policeman who was shot in the line of duty, and I'm forever grateful to the firemen who came and saved his life. So it's like a reward to me to be able to pay back to them.
If you would like to get involved, there is a special Facebook page called Feed Our TFD. Now, coming up on 13 ABC Action News at 11, we'll take you to Inky's Italian on Detroit and Sylvania, plus how firefighters are reacting to these surprise deliveries. Reporting live from Toledo, Christine Long, 13 ABC Action News.
Congresswoman Marcy Kaptur is expressing her gratitude for the service of all firefighters, first responders, and police officers. 13 ABC's Lisa Guyton spoke with the Congresswoman today, and she joins us live with more on that. Lisa.
Diane, Congresswoman Kaptur was emotional as she talked about this tragedy, and she said we should all be eternally indebted to the men and women who protect and serve, as well as their families. Now, Congresswoman Kaptur's brother is a retired firefighter. She says as a community we should embrace all police, firefighters, and first responders for the courage they show on the job. She points out that we often forget these men and women are in harm's way every single day, and they pledge their lives to these careers and our communities.
My brother actually is retired from the fire division as a result of injuries, and we know how dangerous those jobs are, and all the people associated with that division, with our first responders. We thank them for holding us together as community, and our job is now to help hold their families together as they endure these great losses.
Kaptur says she hopes that each and every one of us take the time to thank the firefighters, police, and all those who serve our communities for risking their lives for the rest of us. Such a simple thing to do for the dedication they show every single day. Reporting live, Lisa Guyton, 13 ABC Action News.
And stay with 13 ABC for continuing coverage of this tragedy. We'll bring you any updates throughout the evening on air and online at 13abc.com, Facebook, and Twitter.
And with Chief Meteorologist Jay Burschback, we echo everyone's sentiments, our thoughts with the families, everyone associated with TFD. Of course, the other big story we're following this week and seemingly for the last month, of course, the weather, snow this weekend, more snow today, albeit light, and the winds helping to push the temperatures back into negative territory. Right now, most local counties under a level 2 snow emergency. Erie, Hancock, Putnam, and Wood, though, the exceptions, they're under level 1, and a number of schools have already closed for tomorrow. Most classes are canceled tomorrow at the University of Toledo, except for the College of Medicine and Life Sciences and the College of Pharmacy. And Jay, this is really getting old now. Everybody's starting to get beaten down a little bit by this. More snow falling over the weekend, but it's the temperatures now, just the brutal cold that's really entrenched in this area right now.
It is, and you can't go outside to enjoy the snow. It's so cold, at least if you do, be very careful. But the big story, the big reason I think, Lee, schools are closing already is this, the wind chill warning, which is the highest advisory for wind chills. We had an advisory today. It was chilly, even colder for tomorrow. And this doesn't just go through tomorrow morning. This goes through Wednesday at 12 noon. So we could see a repeat performance Wednesday morning in the way of schools delaying or closing. Current temperature is already down to 2 above zero. West winds are at 18, so the current wind chill now 19 below zero. Here's a quick peek at those wind chills, dropping between 25, 30, even 35 below tonight. Tomorrow morning, back in that 25 to 30 below range, but then improvements do start to come in late Wednesday, and once that happens, we have some more light snow in the 7-day forecast. We'll update things here in just a bit. Stay tuned.
And news of below zero temperatures and more snow in the forecast will have an impact on your wallet. 13 ABC's Bill Horman says our last Arctic blast 3 weeks ago was very expensive. Bill.
That polar vortex we suffered through about 3 weeks ago ended up sucking about $1 million out of taxpayer wallets. Eventually, you have to pay the bill, and we're only now learning just what those 2 big storms and days of below zero temperatures will cost us. According to the city, those storms from January 5th to the 7th cost a whopping $842,500.
This will probably be, if not, one of the most expensive months we had for snow and ice control.
The cost is in manpower and hiring private contractors. The city is using trucks and crews from other departments to clear the roads, and that's still not enough. Toledo spent more than $77,000 hiring private plows during that last winter blast, and the weather is still bad.
We can't break shifts because every couple of days we got to stay on to keep up with the snowfall.
And with trucks constantly running and below zero temperatures and salt and ice getting into engines and gears, well, the costs start to add up. And then there's the issue of how quickly the weather can affect the road conditions. You can go from wet and passable to snow-covered, then icy in just half an hour. That means spreading salt to make roads passable. The city has used 38,000 tons of salt this month alone. That's as much as we normally use in an entire winter, and there's still 2 months to go.
As long as the snow keeps flying, we're going to have plows out there.
Don't think you won't be paying for this either. In a couple of years when the city redoes its assessment taxes, well, they're going to base it on what happened this winter, so expect an increase. Reporting live from Toledo, Bill Horman, 1380.
Ooh, just in the nick of time. Yep. Well, it could mean millions to the local economy.
Yeah, the deal being considered to help create new jobs, well-paying jobs, and a lot of them in Hancock County.
This is 1380C Action News with Diane Larson and Lee Conklin.
New tonight, more jobs could be coming to the city of Findlay. The Ohio Tax Credit Authority has offered a 4-year extension of a job creation tax credit for Marathon Petroleum. But a Marathon spokesperson says that's if the company expands its Findlay headquarters. She tells 13ABC this tax credit extension would create some 150 jobs and add some $15 million to the local economy. We're told Marathon is weighing its options and does anticipate making a decision soon.
A group working to get more research dollars to Toledo to hopefully eventually find a cure for juvenile diabetes sat down with Congresswoman Marcy Kaptur today. Advocacy representatives thanked Congresswoman Kaptur for her continued support of the Special Diabetes Program. The SDP is a federal program dedicated to fighting, preventing, and curing diabetes. Right now it's funded at $150 million through 2014, $150 million a year. The University of Toledo Medical Center and the entire community can directly benefit from the SDP funds here in Toledo. A student at St. John's who was diagnosed with diabetes at the age of 5 is a big part of the effort.
Ever since I've been working to try to, develop a cure or at least things to make life better for type 1 diabetics.
We're working with UTMC and as an anchor, but we've been able to collaborate with physicians at ProMedica and at Mercy Children's Hospital and really bring the community together around this very important research initiative.
Dr. Bloomer and his team at UTMC focus on all areas of pediatric and adolescent research. They're currently involved in multiple clinical trials in a number of areas.
Temperatures now near even below zero in a few spots. Wind chill warnings through Wednesday, and we even have a little snowfall within the forecast. We'll get to that after the break. Stay with us.
Now, 1380C First Warning Weather with Chief Meteorologist Jay Berschbach.
Our lake effect snow showers winding down. Here's live Doppler 13,000 HD. A few still north of Adrian, north of Monroe. But that's not the story tonight. Quick peek back at the last 4 days of snow. Friday, about a ½ inch of snow. Saturday, over 3 inches of snow. 2 inches of snow yesterday, and today 1.1 inches of snowfall with those snow showers. So for the season, now approaching 40 inches of snow. By far the snowiest month of any month on record here in Toledo. And for the month, 51.2 inches. In case you're curious, the all-time record for the whole season, 73.1, set in 1977-78. So we'll make a run for that. For the normal season, if it was all said and done, 37 inches, which we surpassed in this month alone. And looking back at last year for the season so far up to this point, about 10 inches. So just amazing how snowy and cold this season/month have been. Speaking of cold, now 2 degrees outside. We are still above zero. West winds are at 18. Our current wind chill has really dropped off now at 19 below zero. Other temperatures, these are the thermometer readings. Many of us near zero, a bit warmer out by Lake Erie. You factor the wind in, 20 below in many spots, even a bit lower as we go through the next couple of hours. Let's go into the future now. Here's Predictor by the Hour at 9 p.m. Pick your spot on this map. Wind chill warnings through Wednesday at noon, and here's why. By 7 o'clock, wind chills 20, 30, even a little lower, below zero at 7 a.m. Throughout the day, not improving that much. That's why this warning continues all day tomorrow into tomorrow night and Wednesday. Wind chills here 15 to 25 below at best. That's the highest they'll get. Back down to about 30 below, 25 below into Wednesday morning, and then there are some improvements throughout the daytime. Still below zero, but getting better, between 5 and 10 below in most spots. Here's the low tonight, record breaking. I think we'll break a record before midnight and after midnight. More on that during the 11 o'clock news. Blowing and drifting snow concerns continue the next couple of days. Wind chills 25 to 35 below. West winds tonight 10 to 15 miles per hour. For tomorrow, southwest winds 10 to 20, blowing snow but dry. No falling snow as we creep up to about 1 below zero at 3 or 4 p.m. and then start falling off already by the afternoon. Here's the 7-day forecast now. 10 degrees the high on Wednesday. It'll be a dry day but still breezy. 1 to 3 inches of snow possible Thursday, increasing to 27. We'll stay in the 20s on Friday into the weekend. Chance of snow showers each day. We dry out though for Sunday and Monday, but at least there's no cliff at the end of this 7-day forecast. We see temperatures at least in the ballpark of what will be normal. So we're getting closer.
This is
couple
like
of days, yeah.
International Falls, Minot, North Dakota. This is how they live every summer, just about, right?
Every
or every
yeah,
winter. Or summer,
yeah.
that'd be something,
Summer,
wouldn't it?
Yeah, it would be. But it's going to end
Lots of
eventually, so we'll get through it. But many schools, as you can see, closing already tomorrow.
All right, thanks.
Sports, straight ahead.
13 ABC Action Sports teaming up with BCSN. Now here's Joe Nugent.
There is no hotter ticket in town than Toledo men's basketball, and it's been a long time since that has been the case. After last night's exciting three-point win against Kent State, UT now 17-2. There's talk nationally of an at-large bid, but of course still plenty of work to do in that area. The coaches, though, are taking notice. Toledo receiving votes in today's poll. Up top, it's Arizona, Syracuse, and Wichita State. Then Michigan State, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Ohio State. Kind of thought the Wolverines would be higher after their great week. They did beat 3 top 10 teams. The latest in East Lansing. As a result, the Mason Blues sweep the weekly Big Ten awards. Nick Stauskas, your Big Ten Player of the Week, scoring 22 per game. Derek Walton Jr., the Freshman of the Week, scored a career-high 19 against State. So you thought the Winter Classic was the largest crowd ever for a hockey game? Might have been, but Guinness says ticket takers stopped scanning tickets for those that arrived late, and they were not counted. It's too bad. Detroit Red Wing Gustav Nyquist had a whale of a week, good enough to be named one of the NHL's 3 stars. The right winger scored in all 4 games, helping the Wings move into the final playoff spot. In college puck, Bowling Green creeping closer to a ranking, 25 here in the latest release. The top 20, though, are the coveted spots. BG in 3rd place right now in the WCHA as they host Michigan Tech this weekend. Slim pickings in high school sports this week. A lot of postponed games, but that does not mean faces in the crowd takes a back seat. I hate to point it out again, but hey, it's been really cold. I mean, so chilly, the people are going cuckoo. Seriously, boys wearing dresses? Really? Girls in pajamas at games? Hats and gloves indoors? Really? This is getting serious. We have to find ways to warm up, though. Body heat, great, huh? Good idea. Rumor has it facial hair works as well. But you know what? Maybe it's just time to get into the calendar and book a trip south. I mean, who wants to be a sucker, right? We're better than that. Let's bounce and hang out with Miley somewhere. Whoa, hey, you dropped the sign. All right, hey, that's sports. We'll be back. Maybe we'll hang out with Miley. Probably not. We'll see you in a minute.
We're all under a wind chill warning through Wednesday at noon. 0 degrees at 7. These are temperatures 5 below at 9, 9 below at 11. Wind chills right now about 15, 20 below. They'll be dipping to about 30 below overnight. Tomorrow, we continue with below zero wind chills, below zero temperatures, breezy with those southwest winds, getting better late Wednesday, light snow Thursday, and in the 20s for the rest of the 7-day forecast.
Let's get through Tuesday.
Yes.
Big one. All right, Jay, thank you. And that's 13 ABC Action News at 6.
Be sure to join us tonight at 11 for 13 minutes of nonstop news. For Lee Conklin, Jay Birchback, Joe Nugent, and all of us at 13 ABC, I'm Diane Larson.
Stay with us. World News with Diane Sawyer straight ahead. Take care, everybody.
Toledo's highest rated news at 6 is on 13 ABC, and we thank you.